It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman. It's Grandma. You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you. She was a very difficult woman, which maybe explains me. I recognize you from your mother. What? Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room. Oh my God! What's that? She isn't gone. She had private rituals, private friends.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die...
She wasn't altogether there. At the end. Mom?
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
What's happening? Peter! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Wait, Mom, what's happening? Make it stop! Make it stop! I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
And welcome to Horror of It All on Sci-Fi Guy. This is Will. This is your usual Sci-Fi Guy, sometime Tech Trek guy, but now, tonight, Horror Guy. Okay, Horror of It All guy, and that was the trailer to the 2018 horror movie Hereditary. And I say horror movie, and certainly it is, but it's much more. And we'll get to everything about Hereditary on this last day of 2022, December 31st, 2022. Tomorrow is January 1st, 2023. How are you celebrating the end of 2022, of 22? We just call it 22, right? How are you celebrating? Well, we're celebrating with horror. Certainly I am, and I have been. And this film... It's with all types of praise and sometimes maybe even exaggerated praise. My buddy Rob, he says I'm the king of superlatives. I'm always giving these great praising comments, and it's superb, and that might be true for many things, for a lot of movies and TV shows and music, books, what have you. Hereditary is deserving of as many superlatives as you can come up with. I think, in terms of the measure of a great film, in terms of how it impacts you at the time and how much you're left with it, the memories, that sort of nagging feeling and those thoughts of going back, like, what did that mean? Or that moment, that scene, that exchange, that dialogue exchange, what was happening in that moment? And of course, when you consider some of the best films, some of the best times you've had in those films, those are those sort of nagging thoughts and memories that keep with you. It stays with you. It lingers. It doesn't, sort of go over and go down easily because it's complex. The complexity, the emotion, connected with the story, with the acting. With Hereditary, and I'm still shocked over this. I truly am. This is the most emotion that has ever been, taken from me, elicited, generated from me. And I can't even remember. It might be the most emotional impact I've had on a film in my life. No exaggeration. there's certainly other films, maybe Elation. I should really clarify, I should say, in terms of sort of torment and unease and just out and out fright, shock, a true uncomfortableness and disturbance. It disturbs you so much, this film, that I actually was looking away. I watched it on Tubi, actually, the free app, the free platform. Very limited commercial interruptions. I'm very happy to report as well. And I shut it off 2 or 3 times. I paused it, and I came back to actually recover, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm still quite surprised. And as the podcast title says, it is a horror masterpiece. There is no other, sort of review, or estimation for me. Again, and in so many ways, when these, when these film experiences stay with you and force you to almost like re-examine things of it, and maybe even in your own life. One of the things with Hereditary is that it's almost a straight drama in many ways, which was, again, very surprising and but very pleasing too, because, as we know, horror, wonderful, thrillers, psychological, supernatural, it runs the range, right? But there are times when it can go over the top. It certainly can be so broad, and I love that too. It could be great as well. But when it is so gritty and real, so darkly realized, that you could find things in your own family, friends' families, in your own neighborhood, then we're getting very deep and very unsettling. And just so disturbing to say, like, something like this could happen to me. And again, that's what Hereditary, I think, excels in. There is a supernatural element, which I'm not going to give away. If I'm the king of superlatives, I'm also the king of non-spoilers. I never like to give anything away, but it's a deep and complex and very disturbing supernatural angle and focus. And, that's about all I'll say. One of the things in the trailer, she calls her mother a private and secretive person. And I will definitely, echo that. I'll give you that. So you're talking about this mother-daughter dynamic, which sort of bleeds over and sort of, infests, so to speak, the rest of the family. It comes in and just infects everyone. And it's this overpowering sort of dread and sort of depression, and coming from the title, it's hereditary. We all say, oh, genetic traits, run in your family. You can't cancel out your genes. You can't run away from your genetic hereditary, and that's the keystone, sort of the building block of the story. And then what we're left with is the supernatural payoff, the heebie-jeebie, the jeepers creepers, and they deliver. One thing I will say, I was talking to my friend Eddie, who I will bring on very shortly. Eddie was generous enough to record a sound clip, a nice little review, a mini review of the movie, because he's a huge fan as well, when I was very pleased to hear that. I haven't compared notes with other friends. I can't wait to talk about it with other friends, but Eddie loved it, so I'll be bringing him in. And we were just talking about, again, the grittiness and the realness of this, and how for him too, it played in this serious, kind of reality base, which in ways it's almost like you're watching almost a documentary. You're watching almost real people, and this is hard to pull off today. I think, because everyone is so used to reality shows and documentaries and cinema verite, and every drama is so well shot and real. But we all know most of the time that it is it's acting, it's thespians at work, it's cinema, it's fantasy, fantasy island. But with Hereditary and the best movies, it feels almost documentary feel. The Empty Man, and I think Eddie and I kind of agreed with that too. That's another one recently, which is one of my now on my favorite lists. And it's got that, real kind of gritty, in your face, you believe it. All right, let's do the unthinkable on Sci-Fi Guy Horror of It All. Let's do the absolute unthinkable and bring on a guest, since I'm usually alone. Well, I've had some guests, and Eddie has been on before. This is Eddie Steak. You could enjoy Eddie's ramblings and nonsense and nonsensical ramblings on his Twitter page, Eddie Steak, and he has a great YouTube channel, which is growing by leaps and bounds, and it is awesome. And check him out, Eddie Steak, and here is what Eddie has to say about Hereditary. Here now, Eddie Steak.
Hey, Will. Thanks for having me on to talk about Hereditary. I love this movie. It's one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. And when you watch it, the supernatural elements start coming into play, and you take it totally seriously. Because the movie takes it seriously. You never question it. And when you finally get to the last 20 minutes, even if you saw it coming, it's still pretty mind-blowing. And it's tragic. I mean, it's happening to a family. I mean, that's one of the most horrific things about it. It sticks with you for a long time. And when it's over, you just look at things differently for a while, like you're happy to be in the sunlight when it's over. It's just a great movie, and I think it accomplishes what a lot of modern horror movies are going for, and they usually fail. Just outstanding.
I couldn't agree more, and I like what he said about modern horror. There's some really good modern horror, though. Lately, Smile, awesome, Barbarian, The Empty Man, sure, but I think what Eddie's saying, and I agree that maybe the shock value sometimes, maybe this sort of, twisty complexity of the plot, and it just might not ring true, or it might not ring powerfully enough. And this is powerful. Hereditary is a powerful film. So what about it? Like, what's the facts on it, you might ask? And here is the wiki. Of course, we love our official wiki. It's a 2018 American psychological film. Hereditary was written and directed by Ari Aster. Ari Aster in his feature film debut. So it's pretty special for a first-time writer and director to just kind of hit it out of the ballpark. It says, of course, the cast here is so amazing. Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro, and Gabriel Byrne. These are the members of the family haunted by a mysterious presence after the death of their secretive grandmother. Filming took place in Utah in 2017, with most indoor scenes shot on a custom-built set on a soundstage to give the film a dollhouse aesthetic. Now, this is really cool. Right, Toni Collette's character is a dollhouse and model maker, so that's how she earns her living as an artist. And she makes these beautiful replicas of dollhouses and the figurines and, the little dolls that go in them. So within, each sort of main scene or maybe, some sort of scary scene or just a transition scene, you'll see like a dollhouse room, and that will blend and kind of merge, digitally into the, the real stuff. Or maybe it wasn't. I mean, it's really hard to tell today with digital and the old, prop and model work. But certainly there are real models, and Toni Collette is making them and, brushing them up and, working with them. So there are props and real figurines and dollhouses, but who knows with digital. But the payoff is that you're seeing, her work sort of get slowly, trashed. She becomes very depressed to what's going on, and so her work really suffers, and it's such a physical manifestation of her emotions, and it's just terrific. What's really interesting about the box office, I'm going over the numbers. The budget was $10 million, and it made $82.5 million. So the box office was really stellar. The critics loved it. Praise. 8.3 out of 10, over and over, Rotten Tomatoes. Sadly and surprisingly, the audience gave it a D plus or so. Some publications noted that the critics to audience discrepancy comparing it to Drive, the film Drive, with Ryan Gosling, which is one of my favorites, and The Witch, and It Comes at Night, all of which are critically acclaimed, but they failed to impress mainstream moviegoers. So who knows? I mean, there's a disconnect sometimes between critics and, audiences. I think people just, of course, watch what you want, love what you want. No one should tell you otherwise. But in this case, it's a strange kind of, I think discrepancy and disconnect because the movie made so much. It's on a $10 million budget to make $82.5 million, so that's 8 times the budget. That's a terrific return. And yet most people did not enjoy it, or many people did not enjoy it. Gave it a D. And I think it's interesting, the famous and legendary, really, film critic Rex Reed, he said that I think he said it's about as scary as a Bowery Boys movie. So he didn't like it. He didn't feel it was scary. I couldn't disagree more. Though I could say, and I will say, and as, Ari Aster, the writer-director, wanted and envisioned, and I think, completed it and actually finished his goals, pursued and fulfilled them, is that it's much more of a drama in ways. He conceived it, actually, one of the notes says he conceived it as sort of a drama, I guess, and a supernatural. So, and then it's merged. So you've got a lot of the beginning, it's true, I'd say, maybe the first hour is a real gritty drama, but it's compelling. It's completely, I think, engaging and compelling. And then the supernatural sort of maybe kicks in the last, mid part in the hour. And then, you got your film. So I can't praise it more. Again, it's the taste of tea. You just have to go and watch it. If you love Toni Collette, and who doesn't, she's awesome. Alex Wolff, a young actor I've never seen before, he's excellent. It says here he's also a musician, which is really cool. And then Millie Shapiro, who plays like the sister, right? And then and Gabriel Byrne, who is a really, of course, well-known actor. So this is a great cast, original, compelling story. I think for me, and Eddie and I were sort of comparing notes and agreeing, it's a lot like Rosemary's Baby, taking nothing away from it. It's got that same sort of framework of sort of, cultish and supernatural, and that's all I'll say. And that's really a compliment, because Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies, certainly one of the most compelling supernatural films. And again, if you love it and Rosemary's Baby, it's very much a drama. It's, the Mia Farrow character and her husband, they're not, Rosemary and Guy, they're not sort of getting along, and then he becomes powerful as an actor. Why? And he's making these sort of, obviously, these trade-offs and trades, and we know, but once again, I won't spoil, because even though it's a classic, somebody out there might have watched, and I don't like to spoil. Give it a shot, my friends. Last day of the year, maybe you can rent it tonight. It certainly would be, say goodbye to 2022 with a bang, that's for sure. We appreciate you listening. We hope you're subscribing. It's free. It's always free. If not, you get a $4.99. You get an exclusive. You get these little goodies that the freebies do not. Either or, we'd love to hear your feedback, your comments. Keep on sending us stuff, and try your luck and viewing with Hereditary. I think you will really enjoy. See you soon.